Today we're going to talk about quilting a pantograph on a quilt that has prairie points. Now the challenge with this is normally a quilt does not have these prairie points all the way around it, and you can just go ahead and quilt off the edge. Well, this one you have to kind of figure out where you want to start. So what I did was I found my first full pattern on my pantograph. And then I took my machine and I went around that pattern on my pantograph and found where it was going to sew, because I didn't want to go into my prairie points. So once I did that, I started with my first full pattern and I've done my first full row. And now we are ready to roll the quilt and go to our second row. But before I did that, I stitched in the ditch around all of my prairie points the best I could so you couldn't see them. That secured my quilt to the batting and the backing. Just remember when you're doing your pantographs to make sure that you're doing your curves at a pretty good speed. The slower you go, the less of a curve you will have. The faster you go, the more precise curves you will have. We are now ready to begin quilting our last row. So what I've done is, when I rolled the quilt, I had a little too much room here. So I did not want to have a partial row, so I rolled the quilt a little bit more and I made a space that this last row will fit into. It's a little bit farther away from here and a little bit closer to here. And I made sure all my starts started in the ditch over here and I ended in the ditch over here. Do the best you can. Now normally I would not have quilted this with variegated thread, but I wanted you to see the beginnings and the endings and how the pattern worked. When you quilt on a smaller quilt like this, you want to make sure that your pantograph is going to fit that quilt. You don't want something really large. By the time you get to the end, it may not look right, it may not fit right. So, choose your pantographs wisely. The one that we're using today is called Moonlight Pleasures. It's an 8-inch wide pattern. confident quilter. Speed makes a consistent curve. I hope you enjoyed this video from JoeandJoz.com. If you would like to see other tips and tricks videos, please go to our website, JoeandJoz.com, A Quilter's Paradise. At Joe and Joe's, you will find a variety of pantographs in paper and digital format to accommodate all long-arm digital machines. Thank you.